What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of 10K on the Bay, my journey to 10,000 listings. Today, we're actually going to do our normal mastermind call, but with a few less people. So we're going to spend a little more time on each topic. Our topic today is how to build relationships to help with your reselling career. And we're going to start with a win and a challenge, and then we're going to go into our tips and tricks to build relationships because we feel like relationships are a key part to building a reselling business. So I'll start with wins and challenges. For me, I'm just trying to streamline shipping, and I use the global shipping program, and I also ship direct to the customer. I have both options, but it seems like that it's cheaper to ship directly through me. I use a Dymo printer, and it doesn't print international labels very well. So what I was doing is actually screenshotting them and printing them on and 3 stickers, cutting them out, and there's 4 sheets that print with the international shipment if you ship directly to the customer. And then you cut it out, you sign each one, you put it in a customs envelope and send it. But I just found out in the drop-down menu, after you purchase your labels, you can open the international label in a different window. And so I can actually print those on my laser printer. So I have now the laser printer is being used only for international, and the bulk editor just prints on the Dymo printer. And then one challenge I'm working on is sometimes locally, it's cheaper to ship USPS versus UPS, and you can't print UPS on the multi-label printer editing tool on eBay. So I may ship to a third-party shipping tool to make it easier for me to just use one system instead of having multiple processes for labels. It's getting a little complicated, especially since sometimes I have 30 packages to ship, and I'm doing it different ways, and it's just very confusing. So I'm working on that. One positive thing is that my Husky store hit 1,000 listings, and that's been great. I haven't had any sales. I haven't had any days of less than 10 sales since I hit that. So it's at where I want to be sell-through wise. And then one more thing I want to share is that I haven't changed my model, but I changed my expectation on that store from wanting a 33% sell-through rate to doing only a 20% sell-through rate, because a lot of the stuff that I sell is in the same category. So I was like almost 40%. I can see it starting to slowly slow down, and I expect it to continue to slow down as I get up to around 1,500 to 2,000 listings in this niche. And then, it's a little bit different when you sell multi-quantity, which I'm also learning, but that's something that I think is awesome. So let's go to Kevin. Are you ready to give us a win and a challenge this week?
Sure, of course. So one of the wins for me, I'm working on a similar thing like you are, which is streamlining the shipping process. And I've invested a newer approach, which has helped me really actually cut down on time quite a bit. My day-to-day is probably 15 minutes. I was individually cutting out labels, and now it's much faster for me. So that's a win. The other win I would say is sales are consistent, and I've been gradually working at increasing my average sale price. Since I've been using a professional camera, I believe that that's helped me both with sales conversion, and I think that that's added a little bit more of a dollar value to each listing, which is cool. So I'm excited about that. And I guess eventually I'd like to see all the items in my store go to being completely shot through, a professional camera. And I'm just getting better at using the camera. I mean, I'm no, photographer, so I'm working on that. So those are 2 wins for me.
That's awesome. I also noticed an increase in sale price after switching to a professional camera versus my iPhone. Prince, how's it going?
Good. How's it going? So there was one, I found a pretty big win. So this Friday, I realized, I researched the difference between a stock photo and a photo that you take on your own. I realized that every single different product has a different, when you view it, you have a different reaction to it. So if you look at clothing, you want like those personal pictures, someone that took in detailed pictures. Stock photos aren't good for that. But on the flip side, I've noticed that electronics do better with stock photos. If you ever go on eBay, you search up an iPhone 6 or anything like that, you generally see a whole page of stock photos. And there's a reason for that, because I think most people just want to know what they're getting because they expect that your description is going to meet the expectations of what they want. So, this whole time, a year in business, I think I've always used my own photos, and they've done well. But I think they'll be doing better now with stock photos because now I have about, I changed about 30 listings that now have stock photos. I'm going to see how that works. It's been working really, really well this weekend. My sales jumped this weekend. If you guys saw my last Instagram post. So hopefully that goes well. It might just be like a whole, a peak type thing, like a random thing. But I think that it is going to boost my sales. So like realizing the difference between stock photos and regular pictures, that was a big win for me. A bad. I don't know if you guys have noticed, if you guys are in contact with people in China from WhatsApp is currently down in China. So what happened was, like, they don't want people communicating from China to here and making like outside sales or whatever. So back in, I believe, July, they completely banned it. So all these companies started using a VPN, like a IP masker, to start using WhatsApp again. And just recently, looks like they banned it again or something because I have not been able to reach any of my suppliers, which is kind of scary. I mean, we could just move to another platform, but it's been so established on this platform already. That's kind of weird that we won't be able to talk anymore. So that's one bad thing. Another bad thing is that I made a huge bulk order recently from China, and they were all new items, accessing new products, and I got them in. And you guys know how long it takes to get items from China. It takes like weeks, right? So when I got it, they ended up being the wrong ones. So now I have to go through a huge process of returning it, or I don't even know what to do. It's like it works, the product works, but it's different. It looks different, so then it's not gonna work for me. So yeah, that was one big bad thing as well.
And that's great that you were able to share that, because it's definitely a challenge sometimes when you order stuff from China or Alibaba, AliExpress. You're gonna see a variance in quality. And I've seen a lot of sellers say that their second, third, fourth orders are all different quality, sometimes different colors. They run out of materials and fill it in with a different material. So it's definitely something that's important. And I've seen at a different level, there are people who have somebody in China checking the quality before it's shipped. That's a whole nother level, but that's something that is something you have to do almost at a level.
Right. And I think like I got too comfortable with it because I know these sellers already, so I feel like they would provide me with what I want. But, I think it's important that even if you're having an established relationship with them, you still have that language barrier. So make sure you send them pictures and show them exactly what you want. Like, is this the one? Is this exactly it? And then place the order. Because I just placed the order telling them what the product was, and they're like, okay, no problem, we got it. And they didn't get it. So, I'll make sure.
For sure. Mary, wins, losses, what's good, what's bad, how's it going?
I had a few of returns. Thankfully, they were due to sizing. So I'm double checking now that all of my listings are, because ironically, when I tend to forget or just decide to skip the measurements, I feel like that's where you get the most questions. And some of the returns that I received were due to sizing. I mean, it was not my fault. Everything was put on there. It was marked. The opposite to that, which was kind of like a challenge for me because nobody likes returns, I think. But well, I would say the positive to that was that it did get a few sales, right? I don't have a best offer on all of the items. I think I started implementing the best offer after like maybe a month or so ago, after all the listings that I've been doing since then. And so I've received a couple of messages of customers reaching out that they're interested in an item, and we were able to negotiate and communicate with each other about a pricing. I feel like sometimes it's a lot of resellers think it's frowned upon, or saying, hey, if it's the best offer is not available, why are you contacting me? But I think it's important. I usually do price higher, so I think it's important to reach out and then just know that these sales can come through like they did for me. Bookkeeping is kind of in the Swift. This is probably the hardest thing that I had trouble with. Another positive would be, like you said, the listing muscle is coming in, where I can feel my speed. I'm picking up on the listings, so I've cut down. I'm doing a lot of the drafts at a time. So I make a pile, I draft them all with the measurements, and then I'll fix it another time to do photos. And that's where I'm down to about like 3 minutes per draft. And it's just like back to back. I used to take so much time with researching the item, and I know what it's costing, put another $2-3 on top of the listing. And I think it's flowing. And once I get into the zone, like the runner's zone, I'm in, and I could draft way more than I have in the past. And I'm really digging it. It's fun.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, and then once you get in the listing muscle or the habits for sourcing or listing or drafting or buying, well, all those habits continue. And they keep you ahead of the game. And you can also do more in the same amount of time. And that's actually going to bring us into our topic today, which is building relationships, which I think is super, super, super critical. And I have a quick story to share with that, which is I used to do the shoe game a long time ago, and I knew the manager at every store. It was quick and easy. I knew what time to go. I knew when releases were going to happen. I knew stock levels. And the best relationship I ever had was a House of Hoops in Harlem, New York. I knew the stock manager. I knew the guy that unpacked the boxes when they arrived. He would tell me exactly how many items were coming in. I could bring the exact amount of money. It was amazing because you don't want to walk around with too much cash in Harlem or in New York in general. It's just a little risky. But yesterday I went to the Nike outlet for my very first attempt at trying to like max out at the Nike outlet. And I went totally at the wrong time. I went Sunday afternoon. There was 1 million people there. It took me 2.5 hours to get through the line. The first time, 3 hours. The second line took me the whole evening to go through the line twice. And then I was sort of complaining to the Hustle Bee on Instagram. And this is crazy because first of all, I had no relationships at the Nike outlet, and I was watching people battle those. And I was watching people walk straight to the front of the line and pay. I was watching people check out through people in the store. I was watching all this stuff happen. And then, so that relationships were not made at the store. So that hurt me. But then my relationship with the Hustle Bee, he was like, bro, you need to go right when they open and you need to drive opposite of traffic. And like, you can still do it in California. Like, don't be a baby. You have to drive opposite traffic. You have to show up right when they open, be the first person there. When I go in there, it's a ghost town. When you go in there, it's crazy. So you got to know, you got to plan your route properly. Like, don't be a baby. You literally went at the worst time with no plan and didn't know anyone. Like, what did you expect to happen? So now I know. So I have the relationship with the people in the community, and I think it's important to do that because it can be easily discouraging and be like, no, I'm never doing that again, when really it just takes 1 or 2 relationships to really kick that off. Kevin, why don't you speak to that? Because I know, or why don't you give us 1 or 2 ideas on how to build those relationships with people that work at places?
I'm building relationships.
Hold on one second. I'm gonna, Kevin, I think your connection's a little bit poor, so I'm gonna have Prince start. Sorry, dude. Prince, what do you have 1 or 2 tips on building relationships with people?
Absolutely. So I think like I got like pretty, not crazy with it, but I got obsessed with like the psychology of the human mind at one point, like studying with people, not in a weird way, but in a way like to see how people react to things, like almost like a psychologist. So I kind of went ahead and used that knowledge towards business. And, you know, if I could give a couple pointers, it would be to be authentic. You're doing business, but it's still a human being. So just be authentic. Like it's a real person. You're talking about real things. Second one is like respect them, you know, mutual respect. So even though you might be talking about something outside of business, you don't want to make jokes or like, you know, you don't want to say something silly. You still want to respect them and like you want to be respected. So that's another one. Another one is be personable. When you're personable, everything comes to you. Like you're instantly liked and things just go well with you. And I think the most important one is to provide value more than you're getting, especially in the beginning. Always provide more value than you're getting. And in that way, they'll have a reason to create a relationship with you. They'll be happy with you, and then you'll have, you know, more leverage in the future. So, you know, nobody likes a leech. People, I know you guys want to deal, like if you're doing business, you want to deal, you want to make a lot of money, but no one wants to just give that to you out of nowhere. Okay, so you gotta be willing to be in it for the long term. and keep providing value, keep providing, and then you cash out. This is how it works. And that's hard for people to grasp the mentality of that. But when you keep working with it, when you keep like trying at it, you'll learn it, and then you'll just be happy that you did it. So yeah, that's how I approach a business relationship.
Yeah, I think that's really important to realize that you have to find out what they're looking for. You already know what you're looking for, which is supply, right? And you got to figure out why they want to give their purchase supply to you. And then also Prince brought up a really good point before the call, which was the more established the relationships they have with people, the harder it is for you to enter. So if you are dealing with an established wholesaler, somebody who's been doing business for a long time, expect it to take a long time to get in there and build a relationship. But you can expect it to be worth it if this person spent that many time with the same people years over years over years. It makes a big difference.
Mm-hmm. And I'll give you guys a really good example of how I did this. So I had this one supplier, and he would sell me like good condition GoPros, all refurbished, like everything good to go. And he used to get them kind of in like bad condition, and he would repair them himself. So after talking to him for a while, I'm like, hey, like, why don't you sell them to me like used, and like I'll fix them up for you, like whatever, like I'll take the hit on that. It's fine. Like you sell to me for a little bit cheaper, and I'll buy the repair parts. And that made him happy because he could get more inventory and sell it to me, and he doesn't have to waste time on fixing them or making them look good or anything like that. So he just sends them to me how they are, and then I repair them myself. And by doing that, he found a reason to sell to me because maybe his other buyers don't want to do that. They just want to buy it in good condition. But I'll take it in whatever condition. I'll repair it myself. So that's another way you could leverage that and make a good connection.
That's a really good that's a great example. And you can kind of get to that by asking what they normally do each day. What's their day look like? What are you working on today?
Exactly. So like my supplier, the one I'm talking about currently, he just got out of college. So I made like first order, I guess I met him on eBay first of all, and then we started talking outside of eBay. I made like 1 or 2 orders with them, whatever. And then I started asking him so what do you do? And then he started telling me, he's like, just got to graduate out of college. And I'm like, oh, like me too. I'm almost graduating. So we made it very like connectable, like personable. So yeah, that's how now we still have a good relationship. And whenever he has supply, I buy it.
That's a great way to do it. You just saved him an extra step in the process. Mary, do you have anything to add, or do you have a separate tip?
Yeah, kind of basing it off what you said, where it's like psychology based. I think it's pretty interesting how like we work and how you can almost see some type of relationship forming before it happens. I think I have a few connections. I don't do wholesale distributing or anything large like, Prince does, but I think I will eventually get there and I have no problem doing that. I do have a couple of friends, I would call them, I know them by name at a couple of thrift stores, some locations. And they know me, they recognize me. But at the beginning, you don't know who's who and who can provide something for you. But like you said, Prince, you're not there to leech off or get something. And it's got to be a 50-50. It has to be like a mutual understanding and be open with getting to know them. Be authentic, be yourself, right? People, you have to accept them for who they are. I know there's a manager at this one location who's very like upbeat, very loud. He's always busy back and forth. And I've seen a couple of the employees mention him like he's kind of crazy, like, oh, he this, but that's their boss, right? Doesn't mean that's the same relationship you're going to hold with this person. And after getting to know him, I found out a bunch, you get personal with the person, just asking basic questions. Where is this at? I mean, sometimes it's not questions that you really care about, like where's the bathroom, where's the fitting room. It's just having a type of interaction where they will remember you and they will recall, oh, hey, it's you. And then you become a local, right? You become somebody that goes there often. And then one time I did notice him interact with other people that walked in there. So you could tell that those people had a relationship with him. And so I needed to find a way to get on that level where this person walks in and he automatically, yeah, I have some stuff for you. Come. And I watched this happen where I know that this could be that same person. And now we're at a hug level. Like we say hi when we walk in there. Now he tells me what's a good time to come in, what time the new items are going to come out, women, shoes, certain things that I'm looking for, at what time to come back, or the prices, you know, when it's like half off today, you know, half off for you, Mary. And it's just like, this is the type of stuff that, it's 50-50, right? And you have to be okay with rejection too. There's times where you're going to ask, hey, can I get this for, you know, a bundle, whatever? And no, not this time. I mean, if you're okay with it, it doesn't mean you don't try again. Doesn't mean you can't still be friends. Just accept them for who they are, and just treat them how you would like to be treated. And then that's where I think friendships flourish. I think that's a tip that I would say.
Kevin,
I think
it's looking better. Want to throw in a thought?
Yeah, I thought Mary brought up a really good point with the whole, like, just talking to people. Like, I think as soon as you say hi to someone, you've already broke that bridge, the gap between, you know, someone being able to approach you, because you're way more likely to approach someone you've already heard them talk to you or anything like that, because you don't want to go up to a stranger because you don't know who they are, if they're dangerous, anything like that. But, you know, if you say hi to them and you could already feel like that friendliness, then, you know, you're more engaged. Like, people want to engage with you more. So definitely just say hi to people, be nice, friendly. That'll help you a lot.
True.
Yeah, I
There's
think
this quote by Maya Angelou. I think of you guys, it's pretty familiar. It's I've learned that people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And I think if you're able to cheer them, say hi, you know, welcome them, or, you know, make them feel good that they're at work or they're there or they're having a good day, whatever, I think they will never forget you.
no, and that's sometimes I ask for like, can I get a nice guy discount? They're like, you're not that nice, and then you can get a nice conversation going with them, and you can make them feel good and happy. And like, I've had people straight up say, definitely not. So I mean, it depends on who's in line, because like, they can't just give everyone in line a nice guy discount. But like, you know, you can see it working there. I use a little bit of humor sometimes, but I always learn the most from seeing what they do, because they can say something, but it may not be. It may be what they're supposed to say at the store or whatever. But I'll ask, like, like at a garage sale or a thrift store, I'll always say, what's going on at the store today? And they're like, oh, we're unloading. It's crazy in the back. We don't have enough staff to unload. We're turning away donations. Or, you know, my job is to go through these video games right now and figure out how to get rid of them. There's too many, or whatever. So you can figure out what they're doing. At a garage sale, they'll say, oh, we're trying to get this garage sale done as soon as possible so we can go back to, you know, whatever we have plans after the day. I would try to say, why are you even having a garage sale? To try to figure out, instead of guessing what their pain point is, which usually you will guess wrong, you can slowly get into the into where it is. Like, I always like to ask, is this the second day you're doing the garage sale? The first day, have you done, you know, just to get an idea of where they are in the process. If it's the last day, on the last time they're doing it, the prices are way more aggressive than we just opened 5 minutes ago. It's the first day of 5. You know, they're just going to be in there.
For garage sales, I walk in and I say, am I late? Did I come too late? And then they're like, no, come on in. We have a lot. We have more things. And they could just keep talking. Or they say, no, you're not. You're just in time. Everything is, you know, take it. Everything's $1. Everything, you know, just sweep up. Just want to understand what's going on in the sale.
I actually, I'm a, like, Prince in a sense that I like the science of garage selling and battling. And like, there's sayings that say the person that's the most emotional in a negotiation will lose. And so sometimes I will intentionally, this is a little bit rude, and I don't want to come across as a rude person, but I will do this. If somebody asks me to make an offer on something that's expensive, I will always make a really low offer to make them off edge. And I always win that argument. If they're like, this motorcycle jacket, I know they're going to be asking $80-$90 for it. And I'll say, how about $3? And they'll be like, $3? What are you talking about? That's way out. I wanted to get $80 or whatever. And then I know they're a little bit off their game. You don't want to piss them off so they tell you to leave. But if you do that, you're like, oh, I really don't know. I don't know. I have to start somewhere. And then my follow-up question is, can you do any better? Then I can usually get a price decrease without badgering them anymore. I've already, you know, tilted them a little bit. You got to go back in and repair your damage. but
You and your tactics. Hey, they
like,
work.
I will lowball at first because they're not going to say yes anyway. If I were to say 60, they'd be like, no, I want 90. So
Yeah.
you have to,
That's
yeah. When people say they'll pay full price, you also shouldn't immediately accept. You should be like, oh, like when that happens, if you're offering 90 on some, you're asking $100 on something, and somebody offers 70, and you accept right away. Sometimes it makes them think there's something wrong with it. On the opposite
100%.
end, so you don't want to. Well, can I? That's why I'll message them on eBay and say, hey, is this offer based on the market? Like, why are you offering me? If I feel like it's whatever, just sometimes they get a little bit more rapport before you go. If you instantly accept a low offer, sometimes they don't pay either. So I don't know, some psychology in that.
Yeah, you're making some really, really good points, because like now that brings me back to my days where like I wouldn't do any business, but I used to be a consumer and like friends and stuff like that. So like, you know, especially when you're selling something, and then you know, if you're trying to get, you do something for $80, you're trying to get 70. Someone comes at you with 40 or 30, you don't want to be like 70. You, as a seller, and you're like a new person, like you're not actually a business person, you want to be like, how about 50? You know, you don't want to be like 70. That's like way far off. And so, yeah, definitely by lowballing, you know, it helps a lot, especially when you're dealing with someone that doesn't really do business. They just are make a little bit of money or like some extra cash from whatever they're selling. So that was a really, really good point.
I don't see any benefit of being sarcastic. Like, oh, that's a good down payment. Like that doesn't do anything.
I don't think so either.
That just totally messes with your customer. Like it's not reasonable. Like every time I'm like, well, people will say, I'll pay immediately. You know, if I message back like immediate payment not necessary, I'm not desperate. Like I'll wait for you to get money to give me a real offer. That's totally unproductive. Even though it gives me some personal satisfaction of being a jerk, it doesn't actually result in a sale. So I always ask a question when I'm trying to make a deal in the offer. You have an opportunity to leave a message. I'll say, thank you for your offer. Is my price way out of line? I'm already the cheapest in the market. Like, can you meet closer to my price? And people will say, oh, yeah, you're the cheapest already, but I'm just looking for a deal, or this is my budget. People will straight up tell you what's going on. And you can say, okay, no problem. I understand your, but everyone has budget constraints, but I need to get at least one bump from you. And then you can make a deal. So,
yeah. And also, like, I think every so often I like to put myself in the consumer's shoes, like whoever's buying from me, because sometimes you forget like what it's like being the person buying from you, because you're always selling. You want to make more money and more profit and this and that, but then you forget like what kind of response you have. So sometimes I'll be typing a reply and I'll erase everything. I'll be like, no, wait, what would I want to hear if I were to get a response from someone buying something from me? And then, you know, I just make it more professional, more something that I'd want to hear. So I think that helps a lot too. Every so often, remind yourself that, you know, you're dealing with people, and what would you want to hear from a response? So
yeah, I too do open-ended questions like that. And say, I can meet you halfway at blank with free shipping. Does that sound good to you? Emoji. And emoji usually is smiley face, you know. And they say, oh, I can, or like, okay, I can do this, you know. You want to be flexible, but also know like it's okay. Smiley face, you know.
Have you guys ever bought something from China, right? And when they respond to you, whenever you ask them something, it's usually a generic template message that they always send. Whenever you open a case with them, they send the same exact message every single time. It's like, please, like PLZ, kindly, smiley face. We will ready to help you, smiley face. Like, you know, I think that does have a play in it, because then you're getting just like a positive vibe from the message. So I learned from that too.
if you can be just as excited with a bad offer, if you can, okay, you need to have the same reaction with a bad offer or a good offer. Interest. It equals interest in your product. So
100%.
Be grateful for the interest in your product and say, thank you so much for making an offer. You know, I need to be at this number. I appreciate your time. Have a great day. You know, that's great. And then the active, I've heard from more than one person that a decline moves you lower in the search ranking. I don't know why that would be, but I no longer decline. So I used to have an auto decline. Now I turned that off. I have an auto accept. but I don't have an auto decline. So I'll just counter people back, as long as it takes, even with a $5 off on a $100 item. So
I think it makes sense though. Like if you have best offer enabled, that means you're okay with traffic going through your store. And then when you are a decliner, then you're obviously don't want business. eBay is not getting any money. They're going to shut you down to the bottom. Yeah. That's probably bad. But like you said, also when customers message me, I always start with, thank you for your interest in the link item. It's like, thank you, whether we agree to something or not. Thank you very much. Again, appreciation for any type of action in your store.
Exactly. And talking about the whole declining thing, I don't decline anyone, even if they keep, like if they lowball me and I give them another offer, lowball me again, I just let it be, because I've noticed that like whenever I try to go buy something and someone declines me, you get a big thumbs down. It's all in red, and the buyer declined you. There's such a huge negative connotation to that, and I feel like if you just let it be, they might have a better chance of thinking about it again and coming back to you. And like they'll message you like, hey, would you accept this, blah blah, like instead. So I just don't decline anyone.
I am curious, if I were to switch all my items. Okay, this is the thing I find very interesting. My average sale price is about $27, and my average listed price is about $32. So there's only about a $5 difference between that. And that means a lot of people are just buying it now, and a lot of people probably offering 20-30% below, depending on my margin I'm accepting, to give me like a 15% off of what I'm asking is really the thing. I wonder if I just lowered my prices 15% to $27 on average, and then just didn't have best offer, I wonder how many people would message me with a best offer. Because now you have the reply with offer option on the messages, which is new. I've never seen that before until this year. So I don't know. So you just turn off best offer. Go ahead.
Not that many. I think if you lower the price yourself, messaging someone, they don't know how long it's going to take for a reply. So I think most people stray away from that. Some people do, and also I think when you lower the price, you're lowering the value of the product to the consumer. Sometimes when the price, like you mentioned before, like if something is valued higher and then, it's like, oh, this is much better, or this must be like nicer or anything like that, So I think, I don't think necessarily like lowering the price is better, because then they're just going to ask for lower than whatever you already lowered. So,
Yeah, it's true. I think there needs to be a little bit of a buffer, especially on pre-owned. When there's such little competition, you can price a little higher. If you're in a competitive market, maybe 5-10% does make a big difference, but that is interesting.
Chris, are you still pricing like 3 times the lowest? What's your pricing strategy now?
My pricing right now, a lot of it, I'm in the same category, so I sort of know where I'm at, but I'm looking at roughly, I would say the 2/3 of the market. So if something is selling between 20 and 30, I'll price it like 27.
That's the right. Me too.
I'm not going to be the highest, but I'm not going to be the low cost leader. And in this category of used stuff, on the replenishables that I'm starting to get though, I'm priced, I would say 25 if it's priced between 20 and 30. So I'm also not the lowest, but lower than when there's not a lot of competition.
That's good.
I have some advice for replenishables if you're looking to do that long term. When I first launch a new product on eBay, I price it the lowest, so that when people do price for shipping loads, you see it first, and then I get a good amount sold. So when there's like 50 plus sold, you have a good reputation on that listing, and also the search rating goes up on that. And at that point, you can be more competitive and raise your prices, and it'll still stay in the first few slots. So that's what I've been doing for the longest time, and it's been working pretty well.
That's a good idea. Just start with
exactly.
And then also I'll see, for example, somebody is selling, they'll put, let's say 5 different versions of a GoPro on the same listing, and it'll say ranging from $79 to $199, or it's so confusing as a buyer. You're going to click in there because $79 is amazing, but they only have one of those, and 999 of the other one. I don't get that experience, but I can see how that works to get traffic in there.
I hate that. I personally hate that feeling, and I feel like eBay should be updating that at some point, because sometimes people, what they do is they sell products, right? So they make a list of products, which are all the high ticket expensive ones, and then they'll sell them the cover for it at like 99 cents. Like, what the hell? So then obviously you're gonna click on to see what's going on, and then it's kind of just like a whole trickery, and then you're kind of like, oh, what the heck? I didn't come here for this.
I know.
Like,
I did the same thing. I was looking for some shoes for myself, and it said like 23 to like 79, like you said, Chris. And of course, my stuff is not. So it's like 79. It's just like I stopped searching. I was like, never mind.
I'm like frantically looking for the color combination that's going to give me that good deal, and I can never.
Yeah.
And
yeah, that's super annoying.
It's so annoying, and I think that's such a bad experience for I think eBay should make it not. You shouldn't be able to have multiple prices on the same item. It's very confusing.
That's how I've listed some items too. Like I tried doing, modification into different fail.
I've done that. So like on one of so earlier this year, I used to only sell like 2 GoPros, and I used to replenish them all the time. And I listed one as like the unit only, and then a complete bundle. So it would say from a range to range. But I feel like that was so ugly and so unnecessary and everything. But at this point, a year down the road, like the SEO is so high on it that I just can't remove it. So now I just removed all like the single unit ones. So now it's only the complete bundle one. But it's so ugly, it's so annoying that it's there that people have even the option to see that the single unit is sold out all the time, and it's only the complete bundle.
Right.
So yeah. But the range is so high.
There, why not?
Yeah, exactly.
And I mean that goes to show also that's just a different type of relationship. That's just a relationship with the eBay algorithm. You start selling things, your things will rank higher. I did that video showing that if you price your items on reasonable price and you have a better reputation, you're going to show up higher.
Right.
And that's the name of the game. That's a relationship, and that's why people use promoted listings. That's why people do multiple quantity and build it up.
Yeah. And also the other negative with variable listing is that you can't sell similar. So I've always liked my listing, and I just wanted to sell similar all the time, but it just doesn't work because you have to make a new one. You can't sell similar to that.
Right. Yeah, that is a little bit annoying. And you lose your watchers.
Yeah. So what happens is on that listing particularly, I have like 200 plus watchers. So every time I decrease the price, eBay messages them for me saying that, the buyer reduced it by $20 or 10% or whatever it is. And that's just another way to market your product. Sometimes people message me like, eBay messaged me like 10% off. Like, is it 10% off? I'm like, yeah, it is. And they'll buy it. So it's actually pretty cool.
That's awesome. Sends them back to you again.
Yeah, exactly.
So maybe we will call it a night there. Let's talk about one thing you guys want to work on this week, and then we'll call it a night, a shorter call today. We start with Mary. You have something you want to work on this week?
Yeah. Again, I still have that 1,000 goal, but minimum by the end of this year. I'm still on track to do that with a minimum of 5 a day, which is way over what I'm exceeding at this point. I will be out of town Thursday, so like the weekend. So I won't be listing. So my goal here is to make up for those last 3 to 4 days and make sure that I stay on top as if I was still back home listing. So it's something that I need to be like consistent with, or else I won't make that goal by the end of the year. So I will have to probably crank it double of my listings for the next 4 days so I can be on track. So that's one of my goals.
Okay. Prince?
Yeah, a big goal for me is resolving this whole, wrong order shipment issue, because that's a large part of my cash flow. And like, also I don't have the product in stock now, so I'm not even selling them. So it's kind of like, okay, I got to fix that. And, the piggyback problem to that is the fact that I can't even reach my suppliers right now. So I don't even know how to handle that. I mean, directly through PayPal, I guess, but I still need the product. So I don't know how to talk to them. I'm going to try figuring that out. That's my biggest issue this week to fix.
Okay. For me, I have made a relationship with a dry cleaner to launder all my clothing, shirts, jackets, everything that's clothing related is going to go through them first. And then my photographer is set, but it's going to be nice having perfectly pressed, laundered everything. And also it's making it so I only buy nice stuff because it's not worth it paying for that unless it's awesome. And then the other thing that I am going to work on this week is the shoe part. So I'm working with 3 different cobblers right now to find out which cobbler I'm going to pick. but I want to do 100 to 200 shoes repaired, because that's like with homes, you want to buy the crappiest house, the nicest neighborhood, and fix it. I'm trying to buy the crappiest shoes that are the nicest brand and have somebody repair them for me. And shout out to Tino, the Soul Advisor, very healthy 6-figure income, just doing 100 pairs a week at $20 profit. And almost anybody can do that if you know how to repair shoes. It doesn't work if you only buy shoes that are list ready. It's not that easy. The world's not going to hand you that shoe on a silver platter. So my goal this week is to finalize a relationship with a cobbler.
Awesome.
So just tell, or why don't we start, or Prince, why don't you tell people where they can find you, and we'll call it a night.
Okay, so yeah, you guys can find me at Prince P Biz on Instagram. Also, I just wanted to mention, thank you for everyone leaving nice comments on my last Instagram photo. If you don't know what it is, you can go and read it if you want. But yeah, that's it.
Okay. Mary?
And you guys can find me at Feel Good Finds with the Z on Instagram as well. Feel free to leave a comment, say hi. Don't be a stranger.
All right, guys. Bye.